Hey y'all, today we're making this adorable rainbow cake. Okay, so we're going to start out with two boxes of white cake mix. And I'm using the version on my box. It came with directions for the whole egg or with just egg whites. I'm going to use just the egg whites because that way my cake will stay white and it's going to be easier for me to mix my colors in a minute. So I'm just showing you here, this is how I separate an egg. If you don't know how, if you do, separate them however you separate them. Just be real careful and the white will come right away from the yellow part. And then you can just save those yellows. You can make some hollandaise sauce or something like that. I do have a video for Eggs Benedict. I'll link that for y'all if you want to check that out. So once you get your cake mix done, you're just going to do it according to the box directions, but make sure you double everything since we're doing two cakes in here, okay? Get your oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So once your cake mix is all mixed up, your batter is all mixed up, you're going to take 6 bowls. These are my little Dollar General bowls. And you're going to just separate this out as evenly as you can. Because we're baking in layers, we want to make sure that each layer is going to have the same amount. That way everything gets done, okay? So then I'm going to use this box. It's 4 colors in here, so I'm going to have to mix the purple and the orange, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that, so don't worry if you don't know. So what I'm doing is I'm just dropping in my red, and then for my orange, I'm doing yellow and red, and then I'm going to do some yellow, then I'm doing green, I'm going to do blue, and then for my purple, I'm going to do blue mixed with red. Now you can, if you're not comfortable mixing them, which they're real easy, y'all, but if you're not comfortable, just buy some purple and buy some orange. It'll be fine. So we're going by what we learned in elementary school, right? Roy G. Biv, the colors of the rainbow. And of course, the BIV part of that is blue, indigo, violet, which is pretty much blue and purple. So we're not going to do 2 different colors of purple or 2 different colors of blue. We're just going to do blue and purple. Does that make sense? So what you're going to do is, like I said, add your food coloring and you're going to mix this up. If you feel like it's not dark enough, add a little bit more like I'm doing here. When you're doing your mixing of the colors, when you start mixing it, like for the orange, if you see it's too red, add a little bit more yellow. If you see it's not quite red enough, add a little bit more red. You know what I mean? Just play with it until you get the color that you want. And we're just going to get these all mixed up. I am washing my spoon in between so that I don't get my colors all weirdly mixed up. So you're also going to need a tall pan for this. Mine I got off of Amazon. It is an 8-inch pan, but it's 4 inches tall. And I really could have used one a little bit taller, but hey ho, I used what I had. So I will have that linked in my Amazon store in case y'all need a pan like that. It was pretty inexpensive. So once you get all your colors mixed up, I'm putting them in order here because y'all know I'm about half crazy. So I wanted to make sure I had them in the order I was going to use them. Now this is the pan that I'm using. See, it's a tall pan, but it's the same size around as a regular cake pan, but it's taller. So I'm putting my little silicone mat down there in the bottom. I'm trying to take every step I can to make sure this cake is going to come out of this pan, okay? I looked at some that the bottom comes out, but they were too expensive for my measly budget. So this is the one I went with. So you're going to spray your pan really, really well, and then you're going to take your bottom layer, which if you're going from the top of the rainbow, it's red at the top. So I want the top of the cake to be red. Does that make sense? So for the layers, we're going to go from the bottom up. Hopefully that makes sense. You can do it in whatever kind of layers you want to do it. It doesn't have to go by the exact colors of the rainbow if you don't want it to be that way. Do it for whatever way works for you. But what we're going to do is we're going to spread this out as evenly as we can on the bottom of the pan. We're going to pop this in the oven 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. It is not going to be completely done, okay? It's going to be pretty done around the edges, but it's still going to be jiggly in the center. You should be able to touch it and it not stick to your finger. See how it's still kind of jiggly after 10 minutes? But see, it's not like mushy and sticking to my finger because we don't want the next layer to mix with that layer. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're just going to keep doing this until we've done all of our layers. Every time you add a layer, carefully pour it in, carefully spread it out, and then bake it for 10 minutes, okay? We're gonna do that with every layer that we're doing, okay? And you're just gonna keep going. Now, it's really easy. Most cakes do it in several separate layers, but we're gonna do this in one big cake. You know, we're gonna save ourselves some dishes. That's what we're gonna do. So anyway, just keep going until we get to the red layer on the top.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if
Okay, so for our final red layer, you see how mine, like I said, I needed one that was a little bit bigger, but you can see it's kind of puffed up on the top. That doesn't bother me. You know, it is what it is. So I popped my cake out of the pan. I left the silicone underneath it so it wouldn't kind of go through those little grates on my cooling rack, you know, but you can see each individual layer. Now, if you don't want to put icing on this cake, you can take a knife and go right around the edges of your cake to expose the inside, like to get the browned part off and expose the pretty inside layers. If you want to do it that way, it's perfectly fine. If not, you can put some icing on it. Now, I use whipped icing, and like I said, I'm using box cake mix and canned icing because this is a lot of layers, a lot of back and forth with this cake, which it's super easy. You just have to, it's just a lot of little steps. So I tried to make it as easy as I could. And like when I first came across this recipe, it was from another country, so I didn't really understand some of the instructions, and they made like the cake from scratch, but they used some weird ingredients that I don't really have. And I just thought, let me see if I can make this easier and just as pretty. And I think I did. I think it came out great. So I used 1 can of icing on here. You can use more if you want more icing on yours. That would be perfectly fine. But y'all, this cake turned out so stinking cute. So whether you celebrate Pride Month, whether you just have somebody who loves rainbows, even if you just are feeling a little down and you just want a pretty rainbow cake, this is the perfect cake for that. It's really easy to make. Like I said, there's a few steps involved, but it's so simple. It's so much simpler than you think. And we're not taking 10 different pans and having to ice in between all these different layers. We just put it all in one pan, we baked it up, and in my humble opinion, I think it turned out stinking adorable. So if you're looking for a good rainbow cake, give this one a try. All right, that's all I've got for y'all today, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.